Hey, everybody. I'm starting early, so I hope that you're all well. I'm back for now. I haven't been on live for quite some time due to the fact that I've had poor health. I've had my eye issues still, my hand issues, and all of that drama. So I'm temporarily back, whether I'm back for a little while tonight and then I do another live in another few days. I don't know. I haven't actually decided what I want to do yet because with my channel the way it is, I don't know if I want to continue with it. So let's see how tonight goes, shall we? Let's see if tonight goes well. There's people that were in here beforehand but not in here now. So I haven't actually got a topic in mind and haven't had a topic to talk about for quite some time. So I do apologize to anybody out there who has missed me. There's been a few of you. So thank you for all the people who have messaged me asking me if I still am going to go and do lives and stuff like that. I apologize for everybody who doesn't think I have uh, been live for a while because I more or less have given up on my channel because it just doesn't bring me as much joy as once upon a time it did. So whoever that one person is, welcome. I can't actually read chat properly still. So that's also why I haven't been going live, but welcome to who that person is. Hopefully you're here for the right reasons and you're not here for the wrong reasons. But like I said, I've still got the blurry vision. So, doing the eye drops as often as I can afford to buy them and doing the hand exercises as much as I possibly can just to make sure that I can hold my phone longer than a few minutes without having to switch over, and then that hand gets sore, and then it's an absolute nightmare, to be honest with you, to be me for the last few months and well, few years actually. But I was going to talk about when that serial unaliver, can't believe that how much YouTube has changed. Passed away. I was actually going to do a live about that, but then I changed my mind. And then an Adelaide serial unaliver passed away. I was going to do a live about him, and I changed my mind. Those two people was the first one was when Ivan Milat passed away. I was actually going to do a live and say my opinion on how I felt about if he worked alone or he had help. That one person that was in here has now gone. Okay, bye. But yeah, and then when Adelaide's serial killer, I could call him. I shouldn't have said the K word, but I just did. Bevan Spencer Von Item, he passed away. And I was going to do a live about that. But then I got really sick because, I was and tired, not just like sick, but tired in my own mental health. Now, a lot of people in my life have said, oh, well, why don't you go back on antidepressants? And if you were here the last time I mentioned why I don't want to do antidepressants, you will know why. But if you haven't listened to one of my lives before and you want to know why I won't do antidepressants, and I'll go into a little bit about that in a moment, but it just comes down to actually, I'll go into it now. So if you're new here, I'm the kind of person that tries to deal with my own problems the best way I can. And I try to not rely on a tablet to make me feel as though that's the way I can fix a problem, if that makes sense. The mental health services they offer here in Australia is absolute shit. And that's putting it as nicely as I can. A lot of places only allow you a certain amount of visits per year or so to go. So I have a lot of baggage that I need to say, what's the word to use? Unpack. And by the time I get to where I think I might be able to touch on, say, a few things, my time with them is over. So basically, you air out what you want to talk about, and then by the time you get to the nitty gritty of it, your time's over. When I was much, much younger, and I mean much younger, I'm talking about my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, you could go for as many visits as you wanted just so you could get to the root of your problem. But due to the government taking away a lot of services that can actually help people, they limited it to say 10, no, went from say 12 a year to say 10 a year. And now you only get like on the mental health service, on the public service sort of thing, you only get about say 6 to 8, I think. And if you want to see someone beyond that, you have to pay a certain amount of money to be able to go. So for me, I thought, okay, won't do that. I'll go on antidepressants. They might be able to help me. And I found after being on several different types over several different years, I found that like everybody's different. So if you're on them and they're working for you, great. Stay on them. If you find that they're actually helping you, stay on them. But don't do what I did, which I took myself off them, because I didn't like the fact that if I got criticized or judged for anything. Oh, here we go. I can't actually read who was actually in here. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay, if you come back in here to those people, I can actually enlarge the StreamYard now, which is actually quite awesome. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to be able to do that now. So people that are in here, I don't know, there's still no one in here, but that's okay. But anyway, as I was saying, I didn't like the fact that I felt as though there was, not by everybody, but by a few people, I felt that there was pressure to focus on, when my channel, formerly known as True Crime Discussions with Tammy, I found that there was a lot of pressure to be able to find a case that will not cause any issues with anybody. I felt as though that I had to be on more or less my best behavior. I've had a few people saying, and I'm fine with this, and I'm trying my hardest to do a live without swearing, but sometimes it's very, very difficult when you're very, very passionate. Sometimes the F-bomb drops, or sometimes something else drops, and it's very, very difficult to be able to please everybody. For those who don't have a channel, imagine having to be something that you're not comfortable being, so you don't offend this person, but by not offending that person, you offend that person. By not offending this and that person, you indirectly affect that other person in that other group. So for me, I didn't like the fact that with being, for me personally, like I said, being on antidepressants, I felt as though that I was always ignoring how I felt in regards to certain things, because I wanted to try and be a people pleaser. That's how I've always been my whole life. In a lot of ways, I've tried to be there for family, friends that I don't have on YouTube, and friends that I do have on YouTube. And sometimes it's extremely, extremely difficult. And if I would get messages from people saying, your live was great, but you could have stayed on more of a topic of this, then I feel as though that I've let that person down. And I don't like letting people down. I try my hardest in the best of times not to do that. Hello to, I can't read chat still. Okay, no one's saying hello apart from the girl person who used to be known as Bluebird. Hello, if you're still in here. I don't think you are, but if you are, hello and welcome back to my channel. But like I said, I just try my hardest to make sure I acknowledge everybody the best way I can. And with my vision being quite blurry, it can be very, very difficult. But now that I know that I can zoom in, that's actually quite awesome. I like that. Doesn't mean I'm going to continue going live and or anything like that. It's just that sometimes, like when I would discuss the Chris Watts case, a lot of people have come to me and said that having Mrs. Sherilyn Cadle on my channel did my channel an injustice. But for me personally, it was so she could get her truth out. And also because that was my way of closing the Chris Watts chapter of my channel, because there have been a lot of things that have come forward since I stopped talking about the Chris Watts case. But, like how there was footage released about Nicole Kessinger appearing at a friend's funeral. And that became a big fucking thing. Excuse my language. Again, I just dropped the F-bomb. It became a big thing. And it's like, oh, she's put on weight. Look at her now. She's had Chris Watts' kid, or she's had kids. She's gone and got married. Her identity's changed and all this. And I just like, what the actual F, like, I personally do not care if she's put on 100 kilos. I don't care if she's put on 200 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds. So if you're in a different country and listening in, please feel free to change it into pounds. But what I'm saying is, for me, it doesn't change the way I feel about her. I'm starting to think that maybe, just maybe, she had nothing to do with what actually happened that August morning of 2018. But at the same time, we're never going to know what really happened that morning. Unfortunately, the only person who knows what happened that morning is Chris Watts, well, people, I should say, sorry, is Chris Watts and Shanann Watts. They're the only two people that are going to honestly be able to ever tell the truth. And I honestly don't believe Chris Watts is going to sing like a canary after all these years, nearly, well, 9 years later. I don't think he's ever going to tell anybody what really, really happened. How have I been? Not that good. My hands are getting, like, continuously more numb as time goes on. My vision is still blurry, and it's just freaking frustrating, like you wouldn't believe. But it's my birthday in 2 weeks, guys. So I am going to be, I shouldn't say it to be disrespectful to anyone that's older than this, but I feel like I'm about 80, but in fact, I'm only turning 44. So, yeah, happy birthday to me. I'm not quite 43. Well, I'm no longer 43. So I am 43 now, but I'll be 44 in 13 days. So I might do a live on my birthday. I might not. Let's just see how we go. I was going to do, which is really sad of me when I think about it. I was going to do an Amazon wish list, but I thought, and I am going to swear here. So warning, warning, warning. I was going to do an Amazon wish list and have a full on fucking just things that I really, really need. But then I was asked last night by a dear friend. I'm not going to mention names because it's not who I am. They asked me what I wanted for my birthday. And I said, I honestly don't know. And they said, oh, I would like to send you a gift. And I'm just like, but that's just it. The thing is that it's going to sound so shallow of me. The things that I do need and want are worth over like $200. Like, I want to get myself a proper slow cooker that is digital, so to speak, instead of just like, oh, turn it on and away you go. I want to get a proper air fryer and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm not going to add those to my Amazon wish list because no one, and I'm not being disrespectful to all my lovely subscribers who have actually stuck around while I've been on hiatus. I never want people to spend that much on me. No bloody way in the world would I ever want that. So I've said I would rather not do that. So the only link that is in my description is my PayPal, because then that way, if you choose to do that, I can put that money towards something I need later down the track. Whereas if you go buy me something on Amazon and I don't necessarily post pictures that I got it or post that I got it. Yes, I got it. Yes, yes, yes. I feel like a total bitch if I don't get around to thanking people, because at the end of the day, as far as I remember, you don't actually get told who sends you things from your Amazon wish list. I don't actually get notification of who it came from. So I can't go and I can't go do a live and say, Bluebird, thank you so much for that gift, And it turns out it wasn't from Bluebird. And Bluebird just got a shout out for no reason. I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to you, Bluebird. I'm sorry. But you know what I mean? I don't want to thank the wrong person. Oh, shit. Okay, hang on. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. I think it's working now. I don't know if it's still working, but yeah. Yes, I have been off this platform for a very long time, yes. I'm sorry, I don't know what was the last thing that I heard before it dropped out. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, they're improving in a way that it's like, how can I put it? My self-esteem's gotten better. Like, I feel better about who I am as a person, but for health reasons, definitely feeling like absolute crap. Again, crap's not necessarily a swear word, I don't think. But yeah, I'm trying my best just to get on top of, like, when my hands go numb, it's very, very annoying because, like, I could be halfway through. Like, my hair's very, very well, I think it is fairly long. And to be able just to do, say, a high ponytail where it used to take me like 5 minutes, and now it takes me about, what, half an hour. Um, Not that many people know what I actually look like, but when I'm showering, um, it's like I could be halfway through washing my hair, and then my hand can lock up as you massage the shampoo into your hair to get it right into the roots of your hair. Um, my hand will, my hands will lock up. It's very, very frustrating. So I'm saving up my backside up so I can go get. I don't want to cut my hair, but I want to get my hair done. But it's like so much money because of how long my hair is. It's actually ridiculous that in some places, if you like I want blonde highlights put through my hair because my hair's going dark and I hate it. And just to get it done, they put the blonde highlights in. But then what they do is they do it before they cut your hair. So what they do over here in Adelaide is they will put the highlights in, and then afterwards they'll cut your hair. And 9 out of 10 times they'll cut off about the size of if you can imagine a little Bic lighter, they used to with me, they'd cut that much off and my hair would then become short, but they would give me a quote for how much it would cost for, say, a full head of foils for someone with really long hair. And it's just, I don't know if that's how it operates. I haven't had my hair done in years, so I wouldn't know. Yes. It's just ridiculous with what things cost these days. And it's just, I went out the other day for okay, I make this dish, and I have not been sponsored by this organization. I should be, considering how much I talk to friends and family about it. But I'd get this creamy mushroom chicken tonight dish sauce, put that with chicken thigh, and instead of putting it on top of rice, I put it through linguine. And that dish used to cost me about $15 to make. And now, because of how much I use chicken thigh. I don't use chicken breast because chicken breast is just, for me, it's like, mm-mm. It gets dry too quick. Even if it's like how if you overcook a pork chop, it becomes tough and gross. And it's like, I couldn't afford pork now. If you came up and said, "Here, have a free sample," I wouldn't be able to afford that either. But it comes down to, like, chicken thigh now. It's amazing how chicken thigh is so much cheaper. Chicken thigh is so much more expensive than chicken breast, but yet chicken breast is considered healthier. And obviously, as we all know, that ones that eat chicken breasts are quite big. Chicken thighs are about the size of a toddler's knuckle at the best of times. Fist, sorry. And it's like nearly $18 just for like 8 of those things. And because I do, when my hands allow me to, I should say, I can cook up in bulk. I have a dear friend who comes over and helps me quite often, cut up the meat and all that sort of stuff for me. And she's an absolute sweetheart. So is her partner. But what I'm saying is she comes over and cooks, and it's just like, cooks, cuts the meat up for me so I can cook. So I cook it up in bulk. But because what happens is, it's just, for me, it's incredibly frustrating because it costs so much more these days to make than it did, say, 5 years ago 10 years ago when my hands were fine and all that kind of crap. I could cook up anything. Cooking up beef stroganoff now costs like $36 to make, considering how much their casserole steak's gone up by. And it's just the cost of living here in Australia. It's probably the same everywhere in the world, but I'm just going by where I live in Adelaide. It's just ridiculous how much things cost these days. I used to go to this place called Campbell's Wholesale, and I used to pick up a 5 kilo thing of packaging of what do you call it? Linguine, San Remo linguine. And that used to cost me $7-8 for a kilo of 5 kilos of it. And now when I rang the other day, I found out it's like $18 for 5 kilos of it. And I'm just going to go, no. But in the shops, it's like $2.50 for like 500 grams. It's just the cost of living is getting more and more and more. And I'm still on my payment that I'm on, but every time my payment goes up, my rent goes up within, say, 3 months of that. So I get 3 months reprieve, and then before I know it, like my payment went up by, I think it was $30 or something, and my rent's gone up, I think, anywhere from $11 to $20 it's gone up by. So I benefit a little bit, but I don't benefit from it that much. And for me personally, it's just ridiculous. I'm pretty sure other people feel that as well. Yes, as I said, yeah. It's just annoying because every time I think, okay, I'm going to make this dish next fortnight, which for those who don't know, a fortnight is 2 weeks. It's sad. It's sad and it's fucking annoying. Like, anyway, as I was saying, but back to what I was originally talking about. All right, I've changed the subject about 3 times so far. Fuck, sorry, guys. I don't ever want to intentionally hurt people by not going live, hurt people by not contacting them back if they contact me through Facebook. If you're listening and you do contact me via Facebook through here, like by knowing me through YouTube, by all means, please feel free to. But don't just message me and go, hey, obviously I'll always address you as your screen name you use in here. If you come in here and say your screen name is this is a bad term to use, camel toe, and you use that name in here, and then you message me on Facebook and your name happens to be Connie Tangalingo, I will still address you when you come in here as camel toe, because that's the way I respect you as a subscriber. Because I don't think you'd want every Tom, Dick, and Harry, if you say something you think was inappropriate, I don't want you to think that, you're going to be bullied or something. So you'll always in chat, you'll always be addressed as you are when you come in here. But please, when you message me on Facebook, message me on TikTok, wherever you happen to message me, please know that you have to say who you are in my chat. So then I don't start thinking, oh shit, some other freaks found me. And then I start having a little bit of a panic attack, or I start being not a nice person towards you. So if you're going to message me on Facebook or for any other reason on any other platform or anything like that, please don't mention your real name when you message as a comment. Because when you come onto that sounds disgusting. When you appear here on YouTube and you leave a comment, your name you use in here, as far as I know, is what comes up. But if you were to go in there and say your name was Connie Tong whatever, and then go in there and go, oh, hi, Tammy, it's Bluebird. Well, it's Connie, a.k.a. Bluebird. People are going to know who you are. So if you want to remain confidential, just make sure your screen name when you message me as a comment or as a message on Messenger on Facebook, please feel free to send me messages. And if I can, I will reply to each and every one of them as soon as I possibly can. All I can say is just please be patient with me if you do message me on Facebook, because I've set my Facebook up in such a way that it goes to my message request folder. And I will be honest with all of you, I don't necessarily check that as often as I should. So I do apologize if you have. I've checked it recently. None of you have messaged me, which is fine. But I'm just saying, going forward, if you happen to message me on Facebook and I don't reply to you straight away, please do not think I'm being one of those, look at me, I'm famous, I don't need to reply to you. It's got nothing to do with that. It's the fact that I haven't checked my message request folder. So, yes. But like I said before, going forward, I will not have an Amazon wish list. eBay doesn't have a wish list. Wish doesn't have a wish list. Temu or Shein don't have a wish list. So I rather just have my PayPal there, so that you remain confidential regardless. Because if you've been a subscriber of mine for a while, you know that I don't mention when people donate to my PayPal. If I'm live and someone donates, I said to the person who just donated, thank you very much. I do not mention who you are, how much you've donated. I refuse to do that going forward, because I don't want people feeling as though that if they go into another chat where they've been disrespected, they're going to be like, basically, how can I put it, sucked up to because they donated to a little old bat like me. So I'm trying my best to make sure that I respect everybody, like I said, of going forward. Yes, exactly. Thank you. I'm going to call you Swan Lake. There you go. Swan Lake's in agreements with me. Everybody's feeling the pinch. I think the only people that aren't feeling the pinch in Australia, might be disrespectful to say it like this, the only people in Australia that aren't feeling the pinch of the cost of living is the people in the government. Like my grandmother used to say, the only thing that they can agree on, in the government is their pay rises. Maybe even then they don't agree because one person gets. It's sad how there are people out there that are struggling to be able to put food on the table for their kids. There are people out there who are struggling to be able to put fuel in their cars to be able to go see their elderly parents. There are people out there who are struggling to be able to send their kids to school with a packed lunch, and that really devastates me. That there are people that like I didn't get sent to school every day of the week with a packed lunch. No fucking way. And even though, and the cost of living back then wasn't as bad as it is now. And I got asked the other day, "Do you ever regret not having kids?" I'm like, no, because I saw it as the way that. And if my mum ever happens to come across this, I'm not doing this to be disrespectful. Mum, love you lots. Nah, to my mum. Yeah. Oh God, I can't believe I just did that. But anyway, long story short of things, I saw how difficult it was for my parents to be able to put food on the table. I see it even now. Like when people go out and eat with their kids, they're like, the parents give their kids a look, sort of to say, make sure you eat everything because we're not going to be able to afford to do this anytime soon. Or they give their kids a look saying, I really hope they like what they ordered because with the amount of money we spent on this meal, that could fill our fridge for almost half a week, of food. And we've brought them out to treat them. Let's just, they give this look on their face. And yes, I do see their facials. And it's very upsetting when you see it saying, I really hope they have no issues with those chicken nuggets. I hope that but then the parents feel like they're obligated to do that again and again and again because their kids love it. Like even though I don't have kids, I look up recipes to fill up a child. So then that way, when I make those meals, I know that there's a chance in hell that I could possibly make a big batch of it and say, hypothetically, where these days, like that dish I told you about, chicken tonight creamy mushroom, chicken thigh, and linguine. Don't cook it all together. Cook the linguine separately, then stir it through, then sprinkle some spring onion on the top. Spring onions, $3 a bunch, and half the time they don't even look like spring onions. They look overgrown chives, even though technically that's sort of what they are. But the point I'm making is it's just ridiculous how much things are and how shit they look. Like over here in Adelaide, or probably throughout Australia, to buy one singular red capsicum, for those in America, that's a red bell pepper. It costs like nearly $3 just for one. Okay, and then you look over and you look down thinking, well, okay, I won't use capsicums in my salad. I won't use red ones anyway. And then you look down a bit further and it's $2 just for one green one. Now, my fists aren't very big, but just imagine the size of what cigarette packets look like. That's half the time of what the size of what they look like. They're shit. You can't do anything with them. Well, you can, but you know what I mean? Like, it's very, very fucking sad. It's expensive to be healthy. Yes. Hospitality industry is really struggling now. Well, of course they are, because they're struggling to be able to do what they want to do. It's just really fucking sad. I don't understand how they can charge so much money for so little things, if that makes sense. Like over here in Australia, we have a biscuit called Tim Tams, and they're absolutely beautiful, but they're like nearly $5 a packet. It's just ridiculous what they charge for things these days. I don't personally understand. And excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. I haven't been sick like this for like 7, 8 years. And the last time I was this sick, I ended up in hospital with pneumonia. So, fun days. But no, like I said, I have people who can't, like, for a simple 5-pack of 2-minute noodles, Maggi, they're the only ones I eat. But still, for a 10-pack of Maggi noodles, it's like, or a 5-pack, I should say, in normal senses, it's like $5.50. And it's like, how can they get away with charging so much for those? They're not that great. But the only reason I say I eat Maggi is because I eat the Oriental ones, and we get these things over here called shavakta cheese. And it's like a mince kind of sausage, for those who don't know. And I would buy, say, when the Oriental noodles came in the 10-pack, I'd buy those, and then I'd put some, when it was $2.50 a bunch, it's now like $3 something a bunch of bok choy, put that through it, stir it through, and then I would cook the, say, 2 or 3 shavukta cheese and put those, cut them into circles or make little meatballs, put those through it, and that would be a meal. That dish used to only cost me like $6 at the most to make, like per serving, and all that sort of crap. And now I'm looking at it's costing close to $15 to make, and it's just, are you freaking kidding me? Why is it so hard to keep? I understand farmers don't even get much of a cut of things. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous with what they charge, and they still want people in this world to go out there and find a job when they half the time they haven't even got enough money to eat, let alone get money again in their car to go to and from a job that pays them next to nothing because, taxes, all that sort of hoo-ha. Say you get $500 a week. You've got to think about how much of that 500 are you putting into your tank to get to and from work? How much of that are you able to spend on food? How much of that are you able to make sure you can send your kids to a school excursion they've been really looking forward to? And I'm talking about $500 a week after taxes, after rent, and I'll just say taxes and rent. After that's paid, you're left with $500. With petrol prices being nearly $3 a litre, with food going through the roof as far as prices go, I'm actually quite ashamed of how much things cost these days. It actually makes me quite angry to think that, and I feel like a total bitch asking or saying I'm not doing an Amazon wish list anytime soon or ever again. And if you wish to donate, my PayPal's there. I actually feel bad for that, but that's just it's just there so that I've always had it there. And it's not something I'm going to just take away because people go, you talk about the cost of living, but you still put your PayPal in your description. It's there automatically. Well, it's not there automatically. I put it there, but still. But yeah, in 2 weeks, I will be 44. And I feel so old. And I just don't understand how the government thinks that people that are struggling with a $20 increase, they think that that's going to help them. But if you're living in community housing, you got 3 months of that extra $20, but then after that, the people you rent through take it away from you. So, and then you got to look at the fact that you got to, for me, I don't drive. I drive people insane. That's my gift to the gap. But what I'm saying is that to go to and from, to the shops just to a Coles, local Coles for me, it costs me about $15-$20 just to get to my local Coles supermarket. Drake's down the road and around the corner and up a bit from me. It's expensive to shop there. I'm not going to deny that. It's very expensive to shop there. What I could pick up at Coles for, say, $2.50, it's $4.50 at Drake's. It's just ridiculous of the price differences of stuff. But like I said, I'm trying my hardest just to find recipes that are filling and are yummy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to eat a small little meal and then say an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours later, I'm hungry again. Then I go back and get another serve with that linguine dish I was telling you all about now 3 times. I can have, like, say, a scoop of that with the spaghetti scooper thingy and have, say, 1 or 2 of those and I'm full for the night. Whereas if I put it with rice, I'm hungry by 2-3 hours later. Even though they say rice is more filling, I find that the pasta I use is more filling. Hey Andy, how you doing, sweetheart? But like I said, it's just the cost of living is ridiculous, and how the government expects us to be able to live off the shit money they give us. And then if we get a job, we have to make sure we declare that. So we declare it or we don't declare it. Either way, we're in up shit creek without a paddle. You know what I mean? Like, there are people out there, I'm not mentioning any names because I don't know of anybody off the top of my head, but there are people out there who work at a job that they absolutely love, and then they feel as though, okay, I'm going to declare it. So you declare it, and then before you know it, you declare it. They notify the fuckers you live with, or sorry, rent through, and your rent goes through the roof even more, and then you lose that job, but you don't get that money back that you lose when you're doing that. So there's people out there who don't declare the money they make when they get a job because they actually want to be able to live a life that they're comfortable with. But then the government comes along and completely turns them on their ass and makes them feel like shit because I didn't declare it. But hang on a second. Reduce the price of living of how much things cost to be able to do certain things, like to be able to get, say, to and from work safely. It would cost me if I was to work to even just in the next suburb over, it would cost me about $25 just to get one way in a taxi to or an Uber or a DD to get there. So think about it. If you work 5 days a week, you're looking at $50 a day. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, $250 alone of your paycheck is going straight away back in one way or another, going into the government to be able to have that taxi still on the road. You're spending $250 out of, say, your $500 paycheck. You're spending 250 of that getting to and from work. Now, what the government needs to do is they need to take the stick out of their ass and realize, oh, hang on a second, this person's working and they're paying for taxis to and from work. Maybe we should give them, like, I don't know, some kind of leadway so then they can actually look at it and go, okay, well, their paycheck isn't going towards drugs, alcohol, partying, party favors, fucking prostitutes and all that sort of shit, but they're going to an actual job. We need to take that under advisement when we're going to consider their working credits or how much are you spending on the, okay, so you got paid 1,000 for 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks worth of work, you got paid 1,000. 500 of that is going straight away into travel expenses. All right. So what we're going to do is every time you worked those late hours, we're not going to have you declare the money you're spending on travel. We're going to actually let you leave that out. So you only got paid $750, $500 for that fortnight because 500 went for you to be able to get to and from work. So hang on. Shit, my phone's flat. I've got to put my phone in my, sorry guys, this is embarrassing. I'm going to go in my room now and put my phone on charge. But no, the government needs to take, when you have to spend money to get to and from work, the government needs to look at it as, okay, we're not going to have you to, oh, shit. Sorry, guys, my phone went flat. I'm back though. I hope you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? Hang on. Let me know if you can hear me, please. Please, can you can hear me? Awesome. Yeah, you can claim it on tax, but at the same time, does that hang on, what's going on with my phone? My phone's being weird. Give me a sec, guys. Sorry. Oh, there we go. I'm back. Yes, yes, yes. No, you can claim it back on tax, but you think about it, how much of that is actually going to be given back to you on tax though? And that doesn't necessarily help you now when the cost of living is getting so bad. Yeah, I think my brother just wrote how when he used to work at Hungry Jack's, they used to pay for a taxi home. You've been off the platform. Oh, yes, I have been off the platform a long time. Yes. Yes, yes. Prices are crazy. Um, yes. Sorry, I'm just reading some of these things. Okay, hang on. Yes, a lot of hoop jumping. Yes, Andy, I agree. Yes, it was my brother who said that when he used to work at Hungry Jack's, they used to pay for him to get a taxi home, and that was only like from the CBD here in Adelaide out to a suburb just very, very close to the city. But yet they used to do that sort of stuff, and now it's like, yeah, good luck. We ain't going to pay for shit. Excuse me, but no, it's just ridiculous how much they want to be able to. Okay, yeah. Thank you for Hang on. Okay, I don't know what's going. My phone keeps on screwing up. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on here. No, no, I don't want any of that. No, 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 no. No. Oh my god, my knocks herself for her own freaking panel. Oh shit. Sorry, guys. But no, seriously though, the cost of living really needs to improve here in Australia and most probably all around the world. But anyway, enough about that rant. I think I better change the subject before I get too mad and start F bombing like there's no tomorrow. Or sorry, dropping the F word more than I should be. Yes, I think it's best if I do that. But how has everyone in here been? Like, there's only 4 of you in here, but how are you all? There's another topic I want to touch on, but I'll wait for a little bit before I get people, well, not necessarily more people in here, but people that can hear me. You know? Yeah. Yes, it's definitely not alive unless Tabby boots herself off her own panel. It's very fun. Okay. Well, you're all. Hang on, what's this? Sorry. No. No, I don't, Swan Lake. No. I guess there's something about me people don't like. They don't want me on their panels. No, I'm very opinionated. And I don't think a lot of people like that because I say it a lot of the time. I'll say how I feel and I'll do what I think is the right thing to do. But 9 out of 10 times it blows up in my face. And so, no, in answer to your question, Swan Lake, no, I do not appear on other people's panels because there are a lot of people that just irritate the shit out of me. And sorry, but I had to say that. I can't think of another word to use. I can, but I won't. But no, I try my hardest just to stay off other people's panels, stay out of other people's chats and stuff like that, because it just comes down to the fact that when people say, okay, if I open up my panel and I say speak freely, speak what you want to speak, then that's my choice because that's my platform. But a lot of people in the past have actually dictated what I can and can't talk about. One person in particular, which we won't mention names of him, but I used to have to try and put on a persona that I was happy when I was sad, healthy when I was sick, not in pain when I was in pain. Couldn't talk about what he was talking about on his channel because I might get people sidetracked from what he's talking about. So that's one of the main reasons why I opened up my own channel is because I wanted to be able to say that if I was feeling like absolute crap, I could actually be honest with my subscribers. I wasn't going to say, yeah, I'm feeling great today when actually I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling like I just want to give up and crawl under a rock or crawl into a hole and hopefully I end up in Alice in Wonderland world. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt when I was on that particular platform for quite a number of years or months or whatever it was. I felt like I was under the microscope that at any time I was going to be crushed. Yes, most people would know who I'm talking about. Yes. He's no longer on YouTube now. He got his channel terminated. And all the wrong advice he gave me over the years, like, oh, you should consider buying subscribers. No. If I'm going to have subscribers on my channel, I want them to be legit. I don't want to, try and feel as though I have to buy them. No. Maybe that's what he did. Guarantee you, more or less, that's what he did. But I refuse to buy subscribers. I can't even afford to buy the basics of things. So why would I buy subscribers? Far out. That's just no. But no, like I was saying, that's the main reason why I wanted to start my own channel is because, I didn't want to feel as though that I had to hide behind. And like, don't get me wrong, he helped me get the confidence to start a channel. He did, definitely. I'm not going to ever discourage and deny that he didn't do that because he did. But to feel as though that I had to lie to his subscribers, that ended up being, a lot of them ended up being mine. But still, I didn't want to lie to those and by saying, oh, yeah, I'm feeling great when I was feeling like absolute shit. No. There's days where I go through life and I think, why am I here? What's my purpose? What's the reason of me still being here? I go through days and days and days of that. And sometimes when I say days and days and days, I mean weeks and weeks. Like I feel depressed about 5 out of 7 days of the week mainly. But when I'm around my younger brother, who I absolutely adore, by the way, when I'm around him, I don't want him to see that. And I think he's gone to work now, so I can say this freely. I don't want him to ever know that I'm feeling like I just want to give up. I don't want him to know that when I look at myself or when I can more or less make out my face and stuff, I don't want him to know that I hate what I see. I don't want him to know that the only thing I like about myself is my hair. And even now I'm starting to have reservations about that. Like I'm turning 44 this year, never been married, never been proposed to. There's only been probably 4 guys maybe in my entire life that I can honestly say that I've trusted. And even them at times have hurt me and broken me and made me feel like absolute crap about myself. Yeah, it's a wicked feeling because you feel as though that you want to give up. But then on the other hand, you're thinking that if you give up, what are you missing out on? I don't know if anyone else who goes through depression feels like that. But as I was saying much in the beginning of the conversation, I took myself off my antidepressants because I didn't like the way they masked every single problem that I had. Like if I had a falling out with my brother, I just would shrug my shoulders and go, we'll sort it out later. No worries. It'll be okay. And then it'd be a time where I'll have an inspection coming up and I couldn't afford my antidepressants. So I'd have to get them the following week or the following fortnight, sorry, when I could afford them. Yes, I get them on PBS. Yes, they're on prescription. But you got to remember, I have to pay a certain amount of money each time for an inspection clean because I can't see clear enough to do it myself. So I have to pay someone to do it. I have to pay someone to do my gardening. I have to pay someone to be able to do, and pretty much apart from shower me, wipe my ass when I go to the loo and all that kind of stuff, I have to pay someone to help me do this sort of stuff. So it costs a lot of money. And even when it costs like, say in the past, like say $200-300 a fortnight to get a decent clean done, I will still fail my inspections. So it doesn't matter what I try and do, it's never enough for things. But like I said, I'm trying my hardest and I'll keep trying because unfortunately that's what life's about, put one foot in front of the other. And I see it as that's what I have to do. And if I stumble, it's up to me to pick myself up. It's not up for a tablet to say, oh, you fell down. That's okay. You'll get back up again. Because sometimes when I fall, I want to stay down. Um, I'm going to answer that in one word. Well, a few words actually. Hang on. I have a new housing manager. She's awesome, but the pattern is reoccurring. Whereas if I have an advocate here supporting me, they're fine, and then when I don't, they're not so fine. And I just want to leave it at that because if you want to know more about that, Bluebird, just message me on Messenger or WhatsApp. Well, not WhatsApp because you don't have my phone number. Message me on Messenger and I can go into more detail about it, but I'd rather not discuss that here because I've been told I'm not allowed to by them in specifics. But I'm trying. Every day is a try. Because if I say as I'm not going to give anyone the satisfaction of feeling like I'm giving up. Uh, hang on. Sorry. Okay. For some reason, I don't know if it's on your the chat's end, but I apologize profusely for bringing this up. For some reason, I have a $sign on the chat. What is that? Hang on, I'm going to click on it and see what it means. I don't know. Ooh, okay. I don't know what that means. So I apologize if you see it there. It's not something I personally put there. Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Sorry, guys. I just put something up there. Please, someone help me understand what that means. Oh, God. No. I don't want that there. So give me a sec, guys. I've got to remove that thing that I just clicked on and supposedly posted. That was not meant to be posted. I don't know what that means. So please ignore that thing where it says, it says, new to StreamYard, looking for, level up, check out StreamYard and yeah, ignore that, guys, please. So I don't know why that went there. So I do apologize. Please ignore that. Oh no, there's a message above that says something, so please ignore that. Hang on, I'll see if I can actually click onto it to show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, ignore this. Oh, fucking hell. How do I? No, I don't want that to show on stage. Go away. Sorry, guys. I'm still getting used to StreamYard. How sad's that? Or getting reused to it, if that makes sense. Yeah, just ignore that. Swan Lake, please ignore that because I don't know what that means. I don't know why that came up. I don't even know why it's there, but still, I apologize for that. So please ignore it. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's annoying. I don't want to see that shit on my. I don't want to promote StreamYard when StreamYard wants to charge a fortune for me to be able to have the possible best of StreamYard. Fuck that. No thanks. But no, like I said, I didn't like the way that antidepressants made me feel as though that if someone was being disrespectful or cruel to me, I'll just smile and be like, it's okay. Whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't want to feel like I had to do that. So hang on a sec, guys. Sorry, I just got to reply to this message. Anyway, as I was saying, I just don't understand how some people, yeah. So please ignore it, Swan Lake. I'm trying my hardest just to be able to get through life the best I can. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for my birthday. But it's just, it's just so bloody expensive to be able to try and plan anything. It's just like I'd like to be able to do a lunch one year. If I still have my channel by the time I'm, say, 45, which is only a year away, you might as well say, I might arrange, what do you call it, a catch up thing? Yeah, ignore the StreamYard thing. Yes. Yeah, I don't like StreamYard bot. I don't want StreamYard bot. Fuck off, StreamYard bot. I might actually just do, not that I don't think anyone out there would actually want to meet me, but in case there are people who do, I might do a meet and greet in Adelaide. So, but at the same time, again, cost of living makes it difficult to be able to arrange any of those sorts of things because if you're living in Sydney, Queensland, Melbourne, even if you're living close by in Melbourne, it's going to cost you a fortune just to get here. And I can't afford to accommodate all of you. So that ain't happening. But if you ever find yourself, if you're not from Adelaide, but if you find yourself in Adelaide and you want to catch up, please feel free to let me know and I'll catch up with you if you like. But just know I'm more of a nerd than I am. I'm more of a nerd in person than I am on here. So be prepared for that. But yeah, my mother and I are going to go see. Oh, that's what I can talk about as well. I went to go see that epic Elvis movie, the one that well-known Baz Luhrmann did. Now, I personally thought it was shit. Okay, because the way that Baz Luhrmann advertised it was like you'll see never before seen footage, and you'll hear stuff you've never heard before. And I'm sitting there because over here in Adelaide with our cinemas, because it was out in February, I had my advance, so that's how I was able to afford it. So don't shoot the messenger. The point I'm making with this is the fact that we have recliner chairs in our cinemas over here, and I personally did not like it. Uh, no, I've met Aussie True Crime. She's an absolute sweetheart. And I've met Lani. And they're the only two people that I can think of at the top. And Spirit Time. They're the only three people that I can think of off the top of my head that I've actually met. If I've met anyone else, and as in like in person, I apologize if I haven't mentioned you. I really do mean that. But as far as talking to people over the phone, I've spoken to quite a few people. But in person, they're the only three that I can honestly think of off the top of my head that I've met. Met is in met in person and all that. So yeah. Yeah. But like I said, if there's anyone that ever wants to meet me, I'm sorry I can't travel to you, but yeah. Yes, I'm very fussy on who I want to meet. Like I always want to, and I'm going to name drop here. I always wanted to meet Seeking the Truth with Dave. Yeah, but that no. And I've wanted to meet a few other people, but then that fell by the wayside. So no. But like I said, if any of you out there are ever in Adelaide and you want to meet me, shoot me a message. And if I feel like I could get to where you are to meet you, then I will. But yeah. Welcome back. Yes, I'm back, Andy. But like I said, I just don't like the way that the government's run. And that's the end of that conversation for another day, so to speak. But yeah, my phone went flat. So that's fun. But like I said, it just comes down to little things that need to change in this world, but I don't believe it's ever going to, which really, really sucks. But, but as I was saying before, there are people in my life that don't see the real me. They see the me that they think I'm being, but I'm not being that one. I'm not just rehashing on this because my brother's now back in the room. But like I said before, he doesn't know the real me, and he's one of my best friends. He knows enough about me to make me feel safe and make me feel comfortable at the best of times. But there's times where, I have to actually put on this mask of protection because I want to protect him. Because I'll ask all of you this one question. When you have friends that you consider your closest allies, so to speak, when is it okay to say to them, and I'm going to swear here, so again, warning, warning, warning. When is it okay to basically tell those people to go and fuck themselves. Because there are people in my life and my brother's life, in all of our lives, and all of you in chat, that you have people in your life that make you feel like you're, no matter what you do, you're always running that little bit behind the rest of the pack. And yet they criticize you in such a way that makes you feel like you can't put that foot in front of the other just to try and catch up, because you have to walk backwards to feel like you've already caught up. When is it safe enough to say, here, here's an idea. Give me, like, say, for example, they owe you a can of soup, all right? And they said, oh, I'll pay you back. You know what you do? You go up to them and look them square in the eye and say, I want my can of soup back. Try not to hit them with it when you get it back. But what I'm saying is, you get it, and then as you take it off them and they release their hand to give it back to you, you then turn around and go, now that I've gotten back what was rightfully mine, I need you to fuck off. When is it okay to start doing that? Because I'm actually curious, because there's people in my life that I want to do. Yep. When hang on, sorry, I wish that dollar sign would just fuck off. Sorry. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot here, Bluebird, but sorry, Bluebird. Swan Lake, I just have to highlight your comment so I can actually read it, because that stupid fucking thing. Oh, here we go. And yeah, but if they owe you, if they owe you something, it's okay. It's very difficult to do that. And the thing is, though, I am so angry. Like, okay, here's one for you, Swan Lake. You might be able to help me with this one. When you know that there's a piece of crap out there basically sabotaging someone you care about, and the person that you care about is telling you not to say anything, how do you not say anything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care if this SOB hears this. There's a person in my life and my brother's life that continues to bring him down. All right. And I am so wanting to rip him a new one, but I can't, because I need to protect my brother. Okay. My brother has done absolutely nothing to deserve to be treated the way he's been treated. But yet this piece of shit thinks he has the right to do that. My brother, that is, my brother, that piece of shit, and another friend, two other friends of my brother's, we went out for dinner last Tuesday to welcome Andy back from Thailand. And as you all know, that know me well enough to know that there are times when my hand locks up. And instead of me causing a scene, I mumble under my breath that my hand is locking up. I've just got to put my fork down. All right. And if any of you ever meet me, you'll notice that I do that quite often, is that because I don't want to cause a scene. And anyone that knows me knows that I do that. Because I'm not going to go, hey, my hand's locking up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, mice and rats, my fucking hand's locking up. No, I will sit back and I'll put my thumb of the opposite hand into the palm of the hand that's locked up. And then I will basically... It's a very tough one. And what will happen is I'll sit back and I'll put say for example, my right hand locks up. I'll sit back and I'll put the thumb of my left hand into the palm of my right hand until it starts relaxing and easing up a little bit. But if they both lock up, then I just sit back with my hands in my lap and I try my hardest not to fucking cry, because it hurts. But apparently that means I was mumbling under my breath. Hang on, sorry. Okay, sorry, guys. I'm just replying to a message. Sorry, guys. Just give me a second. Okay, there we go. I'm back again. But like I said, that's what I do now, because I don't want to cause a scene. Apparently, I caused a scene one time when I didn't actually realize what was wrong with my hands. My fork would just drop, and it'd make a clang. So of course that causes a scene. But like I said, and because I'm sitting there like, just trying to like not have my pain cause an anxiety attack, I'm the bad guy for that because I'm mumbled under my breath. And all I can say about that is, whoever happens to listen to this part of the live, go fuck yourself and go fuck anything that you could actually get your hands on, you miserable old bastard. And that goes double if you keep on making my brother feel like crap about himself. Anyway, I'm going to get off that topic because that is not healthy for me to feel like I'm doing something wrong, because I'm not. But anyway, I just want my brother to be happy. I want all of you that are listening, all three of you that are in here. Wow. All three of you that are in here, I want you all to be, happy, healthy, I would say wealthy, but with the government the way it's run everywhere in the world, I doubt none of us are going to be really wealthy anytime soon. But on that note, please be wealthy and be happy and treat people how you want to be treated, and stay focused and stay alert every time. Stay safe, stay alert. Pay attention to your surroundings more than anything. But no, I just, like I said, I just think it's disgusting how. Well, not disgusting. That's probably a really bad word to use. I just think it's upsetting that no matter what I discussed on when I would go live previously, it would always have someone there trying to nitpick it apart. And then when I don't go live, some of those people have gone, "Oh, you haven't gone live for a while. Why is that?" Well, because I don't want to. But I am going to try, and I mean really, really, really try to go live more often. I can't promise anything. Hang on. Oh, thank you, Swan Lake. I appreciate the fact that I wasn't overreacting. But like I said, it comes down to, like I said, I want everybody to understand that. Hang on, what's going on with my phone? Tammy live unless Tammy kicks herself out again and again and again and again. But at least I come back. But I want you all to know that all seven of you that came in here throughout the night, thank you for showing support and welcoming me back. I appreciate it. But I just don't know what I'm supposed to do now. In all honesty, I really don't. Because going forward, I was suggested by a dear friend I should discuss the Idaho 4, but I need to research. Well, not necessarily research. All I can say is about that case is it's completely fucked up because a guy got, angry about, like, I don't even know enough about it anymore. I used to like listen to videos of it as I'd go off to sleep, and I was going to do lives about it. But then I thought, I don't want to overstep, if that makes any sense at all, because all I know is that 4 people lost their lives, and it was a tragedy. And they were 4 university students that didn't deserve that. All right, and that's all I can say about that. But anyway, on that note, guys, I'm actually going to go because I'm actually needing to cook my dinner somehow, some way. I'll find a way because I always do, and I will talk to you all in the next few days if I can. Like I said, PayPal's in the description, but more so, and I've said this all along, only do it if you can afford to. If you can't, then that's fine. It's no big deal. I might even come back later tonight and do another live, see how we go. But I need to be able to go cook something for my dinner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, mice and rats, all of you and all of the people things I have not mentioned. Thank you so much for joining me on my return to YouTube, and I will join you all soon. Until next time, stay alert, stay safe, and until then also, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Take care. Bye-bye.